Getting there now. We're up to snake number 7 on this picture of the snake gods of Isis. So snake 7 is to do with materialism, labels, banking systems, and basically profit before people. So the materialism, the noun, is tendency to think material objects are more important than people, and desire for money over ethics. I think that's pretty much a good summary from where we are right now. This is what we just been, from our whole system, our governments and many other people, and people who are well off, they think that we just need to go and buy, and people are actually not feeling very happy, so they feel that they get some satisfaction by buying things to give them a quick pleasure. But true happiness has to come from within, and it's sustainable without all this stuff. So we literally are putting profits before people. And the poverty in New Zealand is increasing so much more. And I think we all know that. I actually saw an ad in one of the supermarkets up in Auckland. People were wanting to rent driveways because they can't afford any accommodation anymore. So they're wanting to rent driveways so they can park their cars there, and all they require then is a shower and a kitchen. It's so sad, and there's a lot of course homeless people on the streets today, and this is a sad reality. And John Lennon had a famous quote saying, if everyone demanded peace instead of another television set, then there'd be peace. So, it's more than television sets now. We're getting every latest gadget. We've got to upgrade all the time, and we keep buy. Our children are in a system where they just buy. They want the latest. It's fashionable. Otherwise, it's funny because when I was a child myself, still am a bit of a child. But anyway, I could never keep up with trends, so I was always sort of behind, and once I caught up, then the trend changed. So you're never going to keep up, and unless you have got, you're encouraged to have a lot of dosh to be able to keep up, and it's not the system that I want to be in. It's just not worth it. It's not going to give you happiness, and it's not going to make you a nicer person either. So the thing is she really worth it? Honestly, is she? And what is she really costing you? And it is the Medusa spell. We're buying into all these labels, and if you know Versace, is that the logo is a Medusa, the snake heads everywhere, and it's supposed to be trendy. These are the people we're following. She's not my type of person I want to follow. It's just not my desire at all. It's got to come from the heart, and sadly this is leading us astray. The more we follow this type of way, it keeps us disconnected from our true God. And it is happening today with the Medusa spell that, the curse of the Medusa, if you look into her eyes, you'll be turned to stone and cursed. Well, I actually think that people's hearts are being turned to stone. And what is today in biblical prophecy is that people will become cold. Their hearts will become cold. And what is good is bad, and what is bad is good. So everything is changed. And but definitely, I think we all know that people aren't. There's still, thank goodness, there are some nice people there, but overall, people do have that disconnect. And again, we need to return and repent, seek His face, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and you will be blessed. So coming away from the curse of following this type of Ishtar, Isis, Jezebel system, Medusa effect, then turn away from the curse, turn to Him, and you'll be blessed. So it's like with me coming away from the system with Jenna when she was sick, is that the curse became the blessing because I seek the truth, and then we receive the blessing. So we come away from one system and entered into His love system. So that's far worth it. It changes you and changes your heart, and your heart just desires more truth and justice and peace and love, and it gives you courage to keep moving forward. But it does come down to choices, and no one can serve two masters, for you will hate one and love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money, which is Matthew 6:24. So there are the choices. Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus, or Ishtar. And really, is she worth it? The crazy thing is this whole system is a piece of paper, and it controls your whole life. Nowadays, people know the price of everything and truly the value of nothing. Again, we know the dollar bill. And business and life, this is from William Feathers. Business and life are like a bank account. You can't take out more than you put in. So why do the banks keep printing money? Sometimes it's from Jim Rogers, he's well known. Sometimes I think our central bank will keep printing money till we run out of trees. It seems the history keeps repeating itself. This happens time and time again, and we've had a bit of a sign of depression. But oh my goodness, I think people must know we're hugely in debt. We have to keep printing money just to keep us up there, but it's going to crash. It can't keep continuing on this. And there's so many. If you look up Jim Rogers, he's got plenty of information about all this, so he's well worth investigating to see that we're really on the edge. And here we are in New Zealand we've got so much on tick, got all these dairy farms, and how much of they are truly owned? I think it's more likely owned by the bank. And the government prints too much money. It's called the quantity theory effect. Governments that keep printing money to pay debts end up with hyperinflation. There are more rich people, but the same amount of products. Result, it means banks refuse to lend and GDP falls. Examples have been in the past. It was Bolivia, Peru, Brazil, Germany after World War I. Again, we're coming into that time. When. It's not if, it's when. But basically, or is this the ultimate plan? We know it's been happening in Greece. They closed down the banks for a period of time. And, we are literally, this is very interesting times. And coming up to the elections and things in America as well is significant times. And it's something we need to be very watchful. But it does seem we are becoming slaves to the merchants of the world, because we're tying ourselves into the system. And again, here's that slavery picture. And I think deep down people know we're not happy. It comes from the family unit with the destruction there, and it just has petered out in so many areas of all our lives. And just to beware, because the snakes do bite, which is the Asclepius, the single snake, and the catechus. And Father, again, wants us, and we can all be part of his covenant. Everybody can. That's the amazing thing is. But he wants us to acknowledge him first, and then to come out of her, my people, and put no other gods before me. Now, amazing thing is, this is a lot of these symbols are going up everywhere in the UK. Canada is also another area where it's becoming more and more known with the ISIS rising. Is that a coincidence? Solution, as always, meet him at the cross. It's that simple. And then day 7 is after this, when the solution is you'll have rest and peace. We don't have to keep buying the materialistic stuff of the world because we want to rest. because we'll be satisfied spiritually and emotionally. Day 7, God rests from all his work. He blesses the seventh day and makes it holy. Genesis 2, 1-3. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasure in heaven, for where your treasure is, there your heart will also be. Matthew 6, verses 19-21. And I think that one is so true, because let's face it, if you've got all this stuff, how much can you actually take with you down to the grave when you pass away? We're all going to die at some stage, but really, can you bury it all? No. One good thing with what I've learnt myself is coming away, because I used to chase the money, honey. Look, I think we've all been there. That's just what we all think, that the more qualifications you get, the higher up the chain you go. But I was never happy. Amazing thing is, whenever I started coming down the chain, the happier I got. And I actually got rid of all my stuff. So I've said to my children now, if anyone breaks into our place, there's literally nothing to steal. It's great. And every time you make a move, you've got less stuff to carry. So it's the way to be. So I go for less stuff. Woohoo.